Hello, everybody, and welcome to Heartwood Park in Leroy, the site of this afternoon's Class C semifinal matchup between the number 2 Leroy Oatkan Knights and number 3 Bath Haverling Rams. My name is Alex Brasky alongside Nate Ryder, here to take you through this afternoon's action from Heartwood Park. It's a sloppy surface here at Heartwood Park after rain ravaged the playing surface last week in the quarterfinal round, but the Oatkan Knights received Section 5 approval earlier this week, and despite some mucky conditions, they will host this semi-final matchup. So before we get too deep into this afternoon's broadcast, let us first thank our sponsors who have done such a great job bringing you our high school football broadcasts throughout this fall season, beginning with our scoreboard sponsor and the sponsor of the Casella Waste Athlete of the Game, that is, of course, Casella Waste. Casella, are you looking for residential pickup at your house, a dumpster, or roll-off service for your place of business? Call Casella Waste and check out their great rates on local waste removal. Casella is your #1 provider for all your waste and recycling needs and is always putting your waste to work. Call Casella today, 585-308-0662 today for a quote. Also, Sweet Betty's right here in Leroy, serving lunch, dinner, homemade desserts, 30 flavors of Perry's ice cream, soft custard, wine slushies, and boba tea. Sweet Betty's is ready to serve you. Check them out on their Facebook page for daily specials. Open every day except Tuesdays. Sweet Betty's is located at 15 Main Street in Leroy. Call to place your order today, 585-502-6084. Also, Bubba's Landscape. Call Bubba's today for all your residential and commercial lawn treatment needs. You will spend less time on lawn care and more time doing things you love. Call now for an estimate, 585-768-6578. Also, Southern Tier Hearing Services. Dr. Susan Nerby, audiologist at Southern Tier Hearing Services in Bath, has provided high-quality hearing health care with a personal touch for 20 years. Located at 7433 State Route 54 in Bath, call 607-776-1200 now to schedule your appointment. Improve the quality of your life with better hearing today. Also, Stubin Physical Therapy and Wellness. Stubin Physical Therapy and Wellness is located on State Route 54 in Bath, the place people go to get better. Stubin Physical Therapy helps athletes recover from injury and reach top performance. We pause one moment before we bring you the remainder of our sponsors as we bring you the national anthem.
Lift our hats, gentlemen, and stand for the national anthem.
All right, we'd also like to thank the Sanka Agency, Sanka Insurance, where the best drivers get the best rate, providing you with the coverage you need, protecting what you value most. That's the Sanka Agency. Also, the Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York, Dr. George Vito offers over 30 years of experience and strives to deliver the best ankle and foot care in Western New York. Now offering podiatry services for patients in Leroy, Buffalo, Dunkirk, Angola, and Batavia. Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York is equipped with physicians you can turn to for reliable ankle and foot services. Visit them online at ankleandfootcentersofwesternnewyork.com or call today to find a location near you. Also, Empire Tractor, your local New Holland dealer, selling a full range of tractors and farm equipment. Empire Tractor is also proud to sell Dixie Chopper zero-turn mowers, which is the world's fastest mower, and they are now selling and servicing the Coyote line of tractors, mowers, and utility vehicles. Check out their website, empiretractor.com, or visit in person right in front of the Genesee County Fairgrounds on Route 5 in Batavia. And also, George & Sweet Sales and Service, a full-service equipment dealership located in Pavilion. Established in 1983, George & Sweet has been providing exceptional sales, rentals, parts, and service for over 35 years. Whether you need excavators, wheel loaders, trailers, rollers, or skid steers, George & Sweet has the equipment you need, including Hyundai construction equipment. George & Sweet has been a dealer of Hyundai construction equipment since 1994, selling and servicing Hyundai machines longer than anyone in the state. All right, so we're getting set to go here from Hartwood Park. Once again, my name is Alex Brasky, alongside my partner in crime, Nate Ryder, here for the Batavia Daily News and Livingston County News. It should be a good one, Nate. Two talented Class C teams both come in with one loss. Leroy enters at 8-1, and the number 2 seed in Class C, and the number 3 seeded Rams enter at 7-1. This is a rematch of last year's Class C semifinal, won by the Rams by a final score of 16-6. In that game, A.J. Bratz, senior for this Bath team, recorded 4 interceptions and a touchdown on offense to lead the Rams. Bratz is back, Nate, and so is this Rams team here at Hartwood, looking to unseat the Knights and move on to their second consecutive title game.
Yeah, and it's not just him. You know, the quarterback Yale's pretty good, and the running back McCrae's been playing very well of late. So, you know, Leroy's going to have to attack them in a bunch of different ways defensively. And, you know, like I said, defensively, that's what these guys rely on. It's been the same story for the last 3-4 years. You know, if they get enough from their offense, they're usually in good shape. It's just whether or not they're going to. I know today they got a lot of kids back. I know Drew Strollo is back, healthy. Adam Reiswick is playing today. Tony Piazza is also playing. So, you know, Leroy's going to be at full strength. And, you know, it's kind of interesting because these guys both these teams kind of beat up in the bottom half of Class C. And, you know, haven't really been tested all that much this year. So we're going to see probably the first huge test for them both this year.
Bath Haverling's lone loss came at the hands of Livonia, while Leroy was defeated by top seed in Class C, East Rochester, Gananda. So here we go, the rematch of last season's Class C semifinal. It should be a good one. Alex Brasky and Nate Ryder, excited to have you along for the ride. Here's the opening kickoff from the Knights. Back to return is Bratz. And he is quite the athlete, a dual sport athlete for the Rams. And here he goes, A.J. Bratz. Already getting involved in this one. And Nate, we're going to see a lot of that this afternoon. I have a very, very good feeling.
Just call you Nostra Brasky. Because, you know, they're going to put the ball in that kid's hands as much as humanly possible because he is one talented athlete both on the football field and soccer field for the Rams.
Yeah. One of the top goalies in small school, if not all of Section 5 boys soccer, is Bratz. Helped lead the Rams to a sectional title.
I believe so, yes. They beat Hornell, right?
Yes. In an all-Livingston Conference title game, and here he is trying to help the Rams football team advance to the title game. So here's Justin Yell in the backfield, ready to take the shotgun snap. Rams send a few men in motion, including
all of them.
Kane McCrae, who Nate mentioned earlier, and plenty of misdirection before the snap. And now the Rams will call a timeout before their first snap from scrimmage. So certainly miscommunication there, and head coach Matthew Ford forced to call a timeout.
Looked like they were trying to confuse the Leroy defense there on the very first play, but Leroy just kind of held steadfast, and okay, I was wondering if they called the timeout first, but
Yeah, that's what the official just announced. No delay of game. They did get the timeout off, and you're right, Nate. It looked like they were trying to confuse the Knights, but they ended up confusing themselves.
yeah, pretty much. And from watching this team the last number of years, you're not really going to confuse Leroy all that much. Pete Green does a great job with his defense. They're always one of the best in Section 5, so they have a plan coming in. They know what they're going to do. So that was definitely the interesting start I was not expecting to this game.
Now, Bratz leads the way for this Rams team, and on the other side, 57, as you see on the near side defensive end, Zach Vanderhoof, who lost his footing there as it's mucky near midfield. 57, he's a talented player for this Leroy defense. As they come up with a stop, it's Tony Piazza over there, along with, looked like Jack Tonzi, to make the tackle, and a loss of 1.
I believe Drew Stolo was in on that.
Drew Strollo also in on the stop. It's now 2nd and 11.
So there's a couple of those guys who've been injured toward the end of the year getting right in on the first play for Leroy. Good to see them back. At least if you're a Knights fan, that is.
Bath brought with them a nice crowd, as you see on the other side of the field. Beautiful day here at Hartwood Park. Perfect day for football outside of the field conditions. Another handoff. Running with it is McCray. He's pushed near the sideline. A gain of about 3. That's going to bring up 3rd and 8. So this field between the 30s is in pretty good shape, outside of the 30s, but between the 30s it's in pretty rough shape. So the 30-yard going into each end zone, it's fairly decent, but when it comes near midfield, it becomes a bit questionable. And now Yale looking to go deep. He's got a man, but it falls incomplete.
There was Bratz again getting out there. He was wide open, too.
Wide open.
His hands.
Goes off his hands, falls incomplete. A missed opportunity for the Rams. My apologies on kind of overshooting that a little bit. Get better as we go with the camera each game. Nate working the scoreboard, myself working the camera. Excited for this one.
And yeah, Mr. Do-It-All for the Rams is also the punter. Not sure if he's the kicker as well. He may be.
I'm sure that talent translates from the soccer field, as if you're a goalie, you have to punt the ball quite often during the course of a soccer game. And Bratz gets this one away, and it's a high arching kick. And Strollo drops it. Ball's on the ground. Looked like Leroy was able to get back on top of it. And they do. They avoid disaster. The Rams were there, but I'm not sure they saw it squirt free initially, looking to make the tackle, and Knight's able to fall on it.
Well, you see a kid who hasn't played in a few games looking to try to make a play right away.
And right there, with that high of a kick, you might think just call for the fair catch. You're not going to have much opportunity for a return with Bratz punting the football. So here's the Knights to begin their first drive. Ball at their own 20. That one's flipped to Brock Flint, running near the sideline, and he's pushed out of bounds. And a gain of about 5 for Flint.
With Strollo hurt, Flint's kind of taken over that lead back role for Leroy.
So this Leroy offensive line has done a fantastic job this season. 77, Tristan Jones. 75, Ryan Murphy among them. Vanderhoof also up front for the Knights. Senior quarterback John Penapeno takes the snap from under center, turns around, hands it off. And another gain, but a short one of about 2 for Flint. So about a 3rd and 2 or 3 coming up. So we're just a couple minutes into this one. So also up front for the Knights, you have 65, Will Eschberger. And 58, Ryan Higgins. It's the offensive line for the Knights. Penapeno takes the snap, a jet sweep, and solid misdirection from the Knights. Catch the Rams defense off guard. And a nice gain there and a first down. Adrian Stevens on the jet sweep, a sophomore. Pulled up to this varsity team midway through the year, and Coach Brian Herdline getting Stevens involved.
Yeah, wait for Leroy to switch it up early, run a little misdirection on this team. Obviously Bath has probably watched Leroy this year, and a lot of their stuff is, counters up the middle and just trying to blast you off the line.
So Penapeno under center, sends Stevens in motion. Tosses it out to Flint, puts his foot in the ground. And you can't take that for granted here.
No, not at this point in the field, but the beating this field took last week, it actually is in pretty decent shape.
Fantastic job by the grounds crew here at Hartwood Park. Before we get too deep into today's broadcast, we'd like to thank the Leroy administration for setting us up inside the press box here. Heated press box, although I'm not sure if we needed it today, Nate.
No, it's a nice day, even though you got that winter hat on.
It's more for my lack of haircut than anything.
Fair enough.
Penapeno tosses that one out and completes it, but for a gain of only 2. Looked like it was Robbie Newmark on the reception for the Knights, and that's going to bring up a third down and about 4 or 5.
It's early in the game. You start wondering if they get within 2 or 1 yard, if Coach Herdline will think about going for this. So it might decide what play they run right here.
So a big third down. Ball near midfield. Penapeno, shotgun snap, runs with Flint in front of him. He's tripped up. A nice play made in the backfield by McCray. And that's going to bring up a 4th and a long 2 for the Knights. And looks like they're sending the punting unit onto the field.
Yeah, that was a nice play by McCray, because if he doesn't trip him up, there's a lot of space out there in front of Penapeno.
So here is Brady Fix, the senior, on to punt it away for Leroy as their drive stalls near midfield.
Brott's back again for the Rams.
High snap, Fix handles it. Another good punter on this side for the Knights, and Fix able to boot that one inside the 20 before Brett Babcock is able to fall on it. So 7.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. We remain scoreless as the Rams take back over. As we show you our sponsors, once again, we'd like to thank these sponsors for bringing you live high school sports throughout the fall, winter, and spring season. Look forward to a Section 5 basketball slate coming out soon. That should be exciting. We have a few more to flip through after this play. So 1st and 10 for Bath. Ball at their own 18-yard line. Handoff to McCray. Tough running from McCray, able to stay on his feet and finally brought down by about 5 Leroy tacklers. Looked like Piazza was there to lead the charge.
Yeah, he's been a big boy. He basically, I think he carried the ball about 38 times last week, 200 and something yards in the rain. He was basically their whole offense, and he's played really well as a compliment to both Yale and Bratz, as well as the other running back whose name is slipping my mind at the moment.
Damian Hall, I believe.
Damian Hall, yes, number 1.
This is our first time seeing the Rams this season for me and Nate. We've followed them throughout the season, but first time seeing them in person as Yell rolls out, directing traffic, throwing now, and it's complete. First down to Bratz. Nice job by Yell, avoiding the rush, setting his feet, finding Bratz for the first down.
Yeah, no, it was kind of a scramble play there, but if you're Leroy, how do you leave, of all guys, how do you leave that guy wide open?
Yeah, it's kind of like in basketball, the whole box and one situation. On a broken pass play, if you're the Leroy defense, you need to find Bratz.
I know Bass got some other talented athletes, but I'm not leaving that guy that wide open.
There's Bratz in motion, as you'll see that from the Rams to try to spring him free throughout the game. As here's McCray trying to find the edge. He can. An awkward-looking tackle as Brady Fix and Jack Tonzi are there for the stop, and McCray comes up lame, as you saw, Nate. That was a very, very dangerous-looking tackle there on McCray's lower half.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to gang tackle him because he's huge, and he's a tough kid, and you got to get him down by the legs. So that's what Leroy did. Nothing illegal about that tackle. It was just a hard-nosed play to get a big kid down.
Yes, and with the turf or the grass the way that it is, it's kind of serving as glue for these players' cleats, and you have to be careful of that too. A cleat sticking in the grass and then contact making it bend awkwardly. Is that one bobbled by McCray and dropped, as it looked like Piazza was there in on the pass defense along with Drew Strollo.
Yeah, that one didn't fool Leroy at all. Even if you caught that was probably losing yards.
So 3rd and 13 coming up for Bath, and a big opportunity for Leroy. If they're able to come up with a stop here, they could set themselves up with quality field position despite Bratz owning that big boot of his. So the 3rd and long. Yell awaiting the shotgun snap. 3 receivers to his left, turns and throws to McCray out of the backfield. A flag comes in the area of holding, and McCray is dropped for a loss of 2.
Leroy will decline this.
That's a hold on the Rams, excuse me. The Knights do decline. And that brings up 4th down.
You have to stop the clock here, but
so a couple extra seconds came off the clock. Now maybe an official's discussion.
remember last year we had an interesting clock management thing here at
Yes.
Leroy against.
Do you remember exactly what that was?
Yes,
Nate?
it was the end of the game and about 5 seconds
Against
ran off
Livonia.
against Livonia.
Yes.
And Leroy would have had one more down.
But they did not.
From about the 15, I believe, somewhere
Yes.
around there. And it's 6-0 game, I believe.
Yes. On their home field, their home clock operator in that game.
Granted, it was a regular season game.
Yeah,
but still.
That could have been a big win for them. So the punt from Bratz. And that time, smartly, Strollo calls for the fair catch. And Leroy will take over at their own 45-yard line. So, Nate, I'm glad to have you along today, especially for the help awarding the Casella Waste Athlete of the Game. Very difficult to do the broadcast as well as pay attention to who the top performers are sometimes. Sometimes it's obvious, but other times there's so many to decide from. So,
yeah, when you get games that are going to be low scoring like this, you don't
Yes.
have guys with about 3-4 touchdowns.
correct. So here's Flint up the gut, not much, gain of 1, 2nd and 9 coming up. We also award the TF Brown's top trench performer at the end of the game. So
I tell you what, big number 71 there for the Rams has been clogging things up in the middle.
I don't know what they put in the water out there in Bath, but there is no shortage of big boys year in and year
They
out.
always have at least one or two that are just monsters.
Penapeno tosses it out to Newmark. On the run, escaping a tackle, and now twisting forward near the first down marker, and that is a fresh set of downs coming up for the Knights. Penapeno to Newmark, and Leroy in business across midfield.
And with Riveswick hurt much toward the end of the season, you've seen a lot of those passes for Leroy going out to Newmark and just trying to get him in space. And for a lot of it, it's done kind of wonders for this offense.
I'll tell you what, you never root for injury, but one of the minor positives that can stem from an injury is new guys getting involved and taking on increased roles, and that can help a team like Leroy as they look to make their sectional title run, and it has. Is that run from Flint good for 4 yards and brings up a second and a long 5.
You mentioned injuries, like we said. That's given Flint a lot of chances offensively in the running game as we see Drew Strollo come into the backfield now for Leroy.
Flint a senior, Strollo a sophomore.
I remember Brock Flint when he was about 8 years old playing Little League.
Leroy native. That one on the sweep is Stevens, and that time it didn't work out, but they were able to gain about 1 or 2 yards. I was talking with some of the gentlemen up here in the press box before the game, and throughout my years covering high school sports, the drive down to Bath, Nate, long, but one of the most scenic drives you can make.
Oh, it is a scenic drive, but I would prefer not to have to do it.
Sometimes on a Saturday afternoon you don't mind it, Nate.
Fair enough.
Especially when you're a young 23-year-old. Well, that was some time ago. Strollo spinning off tacklers, but wrapped up. A trio of tacklers in there for the Rams. Ethan Nerby, Austin Thorius among them. So that's going to bring up a 4th and 5, and just like that, it looks like Leroy's drive is going to stall out.
I have to assume that Herdline's going to go for this right here. You're at the 35-yard line. You're in pretty good plus territory. Your defense looks pretty good, so you don't know how many chances you're going to get getting toward this end of the field. So,
Coach Herdline, a offensive-minded coach, former quarterback for Batavia, a Batavia High School athletic Hall of Famer.
He's the longtime offensive coordinator for Brian Moran, too. So.
Back to passes. Penapeno looking to go deep, and that one's picked off as that was put up for grabs, and playing center field was Justin Yell, the junior. But no harm, no foul, as that serves as close to a punt, maybe even better, as Yell's interception has the Rams set up inside their own 10-yard line at their own 6 to begin this drive. So, like I said, no harm, no foul for the Knights.
You know, it's easy to say sitting up here and not being in the heat of the game, but he would have been better off not catching that.
Yes.
You know, and
I'll tell you what, though, I'm not sure I would ever deny an interception.
Well, when it saves you about 30 yards, you might think about it.
And you know what, Nate? I'm now realizing that our camera is in the sun. I'm going to have to make an adjustment here at the next stoppage. I don't want it to overheat on us. So Yell tosses this one to Gavin Buckley. Go ahead, Nate. Fill some airtime here.
Buckley, another big boy for Bath. Like you said, no shortage of large men there for the Rams. You know, he's just another part of this offense. Like I said, Leroy's going to try and take Bratz out of the game as much as they can, but with McCray and Hall and Buckley and Yell, you know, there's much more to go for this Bath team.
All right, so here we go. The 2nd and 3 for the Rams. Yell looking to throw, and it looked like he found his man near the sideline. It's McCray on the diving catch. That's going to be a 1st down for the Rams. Nice catch from McCray and a nice throw from Yell.
It's one of those things with this Leroy defense. They will force turnovers, and at times they will be dominant, but at other times they will let you get yards, but they will not let you score.
Yeah, it's very tough in the red zone is this Knights defense, a bend don't break defense at times when it faces quality teams, as the Rams are. So inside a minute to go here in the first. Yell looking to throw again as the Rams have opened things up in this first quarter. Going deep, wide open. McCray in stride. Inside the 10. Touchdown Rams. Long throw and catch from Justin Yell to Kean McCray. And Bath Haverling is on the board. It's 6-0 with 41 seconds to go here in the first quarter. What a bomb, Nate. He was wide open.
Yeah, he was covered initially, and then I'm not exactly sure what the defensive back was doing. He kind of stopped, and McCray kept going. And unlike that one pass to Bratz early in the quarter, that one was right on the money.
What a massive play here, as that has broken things open for the time being at 6-0. First points of the game awaiting the PAT. The 2-point try, Yell on the throw, and a diving attempt made, but unable to make the catch, Gavin Buckley. And the Rams lead remains 6-0. As we once again tell you about our sponsors, beginning with our scoreboard sponsor with 42 seconds remaining in the first. Leroy trails 6-0, and Casella Waste, your #1 service provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Are you looking for residential pickup at your house, a dumpster, or roll-off service for your place of business? Call Casella Waste and check out their great rates on local waste removal. Casella is your #1 provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Also, Sweet Betty's Restaurant and Ice Cream Shop, serving lunch, dinner, homemade desserts, 30 flavors of Perry's ice cream, soft custard, wine slushies, and boba tea. Sweet Betty's is ready to serve you. Also, Bubba's Landscape. Call today for all your residential and commercial lawn treatment needs. Also, Southern Tier Hearing Services. Dr. Susan Nerby, audiologist at Southern Tier Hearing Services in Bath, has provided high-quality hearing health care with a personal touch for 20 years. Also, Stephen Physical Therapy is located on State Route 54 in Bath, the place people go to get better. The Sanka Agency, where the best drivers get the best rate. And we'll tell you about a couple more following the kickoff here from the Rams, but it's a 6-0 Bath Haverling lead. The bomb from Yell to McCray, and looks like that interception didn't hurt him, Nate.
No, not at all.
So here we go. The ensuing kickoff following the touchdown. So I still look to make adjustments with our camera. And a short return up to about the 35-yard line, and that's where Leroy will begin its drive. And we'd also like to tell you about Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York. Dr. George Vito offers over 30 years of experience and strives to deliver the best ankle and foot care in Western New York, now offering podiatry services for patients in Leroy, Buffalo, Dunkirk, Angola, and Batavia. Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York is equipped with physicians you can turn to for reliable ankle and foot services. So here we go. Penapeno under center. Takes a snap. Ball comes out. Looked like Penapeno was able to get back on it, and he did. As we also tell you about Empire Tractor, your local New Holland dealer selling a full range of tractors and farm equipment. Empire Tractor is also proud to sell Dixie Chopper zero-turn mowers, which is the world's fastest mower. And lastly, George & Sweet Sales and Service, located in Pavilion and established in 1983. George & Sweet has been providing exceptional sales, rentals, parts, and service for over 35 years. All right, so time winding down in this first quarter. The final play of the first 12 minutes as Flint breaks free into the secondary, bouncing off his own man and across midfield to the Rams' 45-yard line as we take a quick break at the conclusion of the first quarter. The sun is hot. All right, and we're back. As I tell Nate, the sun is hot. maybe the statement of the day from me. But here we go. First down coming up for the Knights following the long run from Flint. As we try to avoid a little overheating situation here as the sun is directly on our camera. So 1st and 10. Ball at the Rams' 45-yard line. Penapeno under center for Leroy. Man in motion. Hands it to Flint. Crashing forward into the line of scrimmage and for a gain of 1.
Well, I know it's what Leroy likes to do, but they are not getting much up the middle. They're going to have to try to get outside, and that's where they're getting all their big plays.
It's going to be tough for them to go to the air, as I'm sure that Coach Herdline and his staff may have woken up in a cold sweat tonight, reminding themselves of Bratz's 4 interceptions in that semifinal game last year. He's really like a center fielder out there. Snap to Penapeno. This time he does look to throw. And it's picked off! The Rams come up with the interception.
Just as you were saying, he threw a wobbler out there. And
Damian Hall on the pick. And like clockwork, right when I say it, Nate, the Rams come up with the interception, and it's Hall, the big play, to give Bath Haverling possession inside Knights territory. Costly mistake for Leroy.
yeah, it wasn't Bratz, but again, it's one of those guys we've mentioned for the first quarter here. If I'm Leroy right now, I'm hoping this defense can come up with a turnover here, because one more score with this offense and you're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Up the middle goes McCray, a big run on first down, and that is, I believe, a first down for the Rams. Jackson Fixon on the stop, but not before McCray's able to cross the line to gain.
We've not heard from Big Zach Vanderhoof yet today. You would like to see him, try to get into this backfield, but they're running away from him, and I'm sure that's by design.
Up the middle goes McCray. Short gain of about 2. They're also sending multiple blockers at Vanderhoof, as you saw on that play, really chipping him immediately and then sending a player out of the backfield to stop him. And that's really slowed him down in the early going, and I'm sure the surface has also slowed him down. We saw him slip up, I think, on the Rams' first play from scrimmage, and it can't be easy for a defender, as they really have to guess where the offensive player is going, and when you don't have your feet under you, that becomes a difficult proposition.
Especially this part of the field. Looks to be where it's the worst.
2nd and 9 for the Rams. Yell throws it out to Bratz on the run near first down yardage, but I believe he went out of bounds a bit shy of the line to gain. And speaking of Bratz, Nate, guess what he'll do later today? At 5 o'clock in Buffalo, he'll take to the soccer field and help the Bath Haverling Rams boys soccer team what they hope will be a win in the Far West Regional. So a big day planned for Bratz.
Oh, I guarantee the Bath soccer coach right now is watching this with his fingers crossed. Yeah.
And I'm not sure, but I would imagine that had something to do with the noontime kickoff here today, perhaps?
I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can alter the game time.
As McCray goes up the middle for no gain. But no, what I'm saying is I believe this game would have originally been played Friday, but due to the field conditions, it had to be moved to Saturday. And in the interest of all parties,
yeah, I don't know if that would happen, but I mean, I guess it could have. Usually they won't alter, set a time specifically.
But they've never had to deal with that in past seasons until these past couple of seasons, as athletes weren't allowed to play 2 sports simultaneously, but that's changed recently, so maybe they're kind of
Yeah, I see your point.
dealing with things as they go.
Like I said, it's highly possible that they started this game early for that reason.
So 9 minutes remaining here in the first half. Yell back to throw. He's under pressure. Escapes it. Going deep to Bratz. A jump ball. Touchdown Rams. A.J. Bratz from Justin Yell. Another long touchdown pass. As Bratz went up to get it. And Bath Haverling has taken a 2-touchdown lead. They are dominating this ball game with 8:52 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, it looked like that was Drew Strollo had a shot at Yell, and he kind of sidestepped him, and one-on-one coverage out there on the side, and he just kind of heave it up there.
It's one thing this Leroy team does not have a surplus of, and that is height. So a player of Bratz's height, 5'10", along the outside, you saw, made things difficult for the Knights there. And the Rams get the 2-point. It's now a 14-0 ball game. Bath Haverling is rolling. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, obviously Casella Waste. Justin Yell making his case for the Casella Waste Athlete of the Game. 2 long touchdown passes. He has to be near 200 yards passing, maybe $150. Also, Sweet Betty's Restaurant and Ice Cream Shop. Delicious ice cream, Nate. I've had it before. Bubba's Landscape does a great job. And here are a few new sponsors joining the fold from the Bath area, so much appreciation shown to them this afternoon for helping us bring you this game. As you see some of them on your screen right here. Sanka Agency. Also, we had Southern Tier Hearing Services and Steuben Physical Therapy and Wellness. Also, the Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York. I may need some foot care after standing up these past 2 nights.
Where?
Empire Tractor in Batavia. They're here to help you grow. And George and Swede, one of our most loyal sponsors, along with Empire Tractor and a few others, here this season. Squib kick from the Rams, fielded by the Knights, and it was Bryce Lathan. And Leroy's got to get something going soon, Nate, or they could be in trouble.
I was going to say, I'd hate to state the obvious, but, this Leroy offense, granted it scored a lot of points this year, a lot of that was to subpar competition. Against the quality teams, Letchworth, Warsaw, East Rochester, they haven't put up that many points. So to say they need to get this offense going is an understatement.
So 1st and 10 for Leroy. 8:40 remaining in the first quarter. Snap goes to Penapeno in the shotgun. He's immediately contacted near the line of scrimmage, and coming in to finish things off, it looked like was number 57, Brock Brazy. And the Leroy fans calling for Coach Herdline to open things up, but as we saw in the last possession, they opened things up and it resulted in an interception.
Yeah, I was going to say, they opened it up and tried to go to a pass last time, and it was picked off, so Leroy's best work has been running outside.
2 of Leroy's very few passes this afternoon have both been picked off. So you can see why Coach Herdline may be a bit tentative to go to the pass game, but I think he's going to have to. And here you see the Knights in the shotgun spread things out, but an option play to Flint as he loses his footing in the backfield.
Yeah, nothing you could do there.
And one thing you can say about this slippery field here, it can't really help a running team like Leroy. Tough to gain that footing and make the cuts needed to gain the extra yardage. You need to move the football, and we've seen the Rams go to the air, and it's really worked out for them.
Like we said, especially right at this part of the field, that is definitely the worst part.
Penapeno back to throw, and that one's tipped away.
Looked like a
Third and
That'll be fourth down.
4th and 8 coming up.
Looked like they were trying to set up some sort of screen there, and that did not fool Bath whatsoever.
And as Knight told you about, it's been a struggle offensively for Leroy this season. 21-6 win over Calmon Byron Bergen to begin the season, followed by an 18-6 loss to East Rochester Gananda in week 2. Then Leroy able to put some points on the board the following 2 weeks, 38-0 over Hornell, followed by a 57-0 win over Minders, and that's a bad snap, adding insult to injury, but what a job by Fix. Able to get that away, and
Wow.
that really could have served as a huge disaster for Leroy, but they owe a lot to Fix as he was able to pick that ball up and get it away. But moving forward, after the 57-0 win over Minders, Leroy beat Wilson Magnet, a Class B school, 48-12, but then the offensive struggles resurfaced. A 21-13 edging of Letchworth Perry Warsaw, at 28-7 tough game against Attica, and then a 14-7 win over Penn Yan, and a 7-3 win over Attica in the slop last week. So it's really been an up and down year for this Leroy offense, and they need to get things going soon.
You know, they've taken advantage of turnovers a lot, and they haven't gotten one yet here.
Good job by this Leroy defense, getting the stop there, and that's Jack Tonzi in on the stop, and perhaps that's what the Knights need, as you saw the Rams come up with a big play and the turnover on defense. I think that's exactly what Leroy needs, set themselves up with a short field and gain some momentum here before they get the ball back.
Yeah, I believe this Leroy defense has forced around 30 turnovers this year, so.
So here's Yell in the backfield. Hall beside him. Second down and 10, looking to throw.
Wow.
Down the field, and that is complete to Bratz.
Nice catch by Bratz,
But a flag behind the play, and as you may have heard, I believe that's going to be a holding call. And it is. That will take the completion off the board and set up the Rams with a 2nd and long. And it's not a turnover, Nate, but a penalty forced by good pressure by this Leroy defense, and that can even have a chance to create a positive effect here.
Yeah, and that's going to be marked from the spot, so that's going to be a long penalty. Wow, they are really marking it back.
Yeah, this is going to be a 2nd and about 25.
I'm going to call it 26.
Oh, and we got the radio broadcast calling it 2nd and 27, so we're all across the board up here.
It looks like to be about 2nd and 26 or 7 yards.
John Piazza going with 26 or 27.
Really playing the politician over there.
Looks like we got another flag here on Bath.
And what is this going to be,
Maybe an
Nate?
illegal shift or a delay of game. I don't think it was a delay of game.
Yeah, I didn't see the hand go up. And yes, it is an illegal shift or an illegal substitution.
I believe it's an illegal substitution. Not up on my rule book, but.
So 2nd and what I'm going to call 30 coming up for the
Well, it's
Rams.
pretty easy math here, Alex. They're at the 20. You had 30 to the 50. Look where the yardage to gain is. It's after the 50.
We're on an angle. I'm not so sure that they're at the 20.
You can see the ball right on the line, Alex.
I can't see it. I'm blocked. All right, here we go. 6:05 remaining in this first half. The Rams with a 2nd and a Leroy Country Mile. Yell takes the snap, looking to throw, going deep. What a surprise. Bratz.
Oh,
He was there, but so was Jackson Fix, who let that one go through his hands as he attempted to make the leaping interception.
you know, Fix let that go through his hands, and that was almost another big play by Bratz.
So on Bath's side of things, it's really been an easy go throughout the season. They began the year with a 48-13 win over Mid Lakes, a 28-20 loss to Livonia, their only loss of the season.
Kind of looks like a stunner
2.
now, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Especially after Livonia was ousted by Letchworth Perry Warsaw in the quarterfinal round. So here on this 3rd and long, McCray looking to make something out of it, but he's pushed out of bounds, and the Rams are going to punt it away. Followed by that loss to Livonia, Haverling took down Penn Yan 24-18, then Hornell 30-0, Attica 28-14, Waterloo 44-13, Minders 42-0, and Penn Yan, 28-0. So after that loss to Livonia, it's been a carnival cruise for this Bath Haverling team as Brott's ready to punt it away. Another high kick. And a big hit delivered, and it looks like a Bath player is writhing in pain, and a flag has come out. And I'm not sure what the flag is, but it could be an illegal block on Leroy. I'm not sure the Bath player was expecting that one.
It was a very late flag, so I'm not sure if that's what it was or
maybe kick catch interference. I'm not sure. It's kind of in the territory of either one, but that did not look good for the Bath player, as we wish the best for him. Try to get you a number as soon as we can. I think it was, we won't speculate who it is. I'm not sure. Wait till he gets up, hopefully under his own power here. As the officials, it's a personal foul on Bath.
I was going to say that, but I wanted to wait. I think it was retaliation after they saw that block.
So thankfully, the Bath player able to work himself off the field. Maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. Ethan Nerby able to make it off, and thankfully he looks to be okay. So Leroy improves its field position following the personal foul. So I didn't really see the hit, Nate, working the camera, looking through the viewfinder. What did you see on the hit on Nerby?
I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I mean, it looked like a hard hit. I don't know if it was an illegal hit by any means.
Maybe just not expecting it.
I believe so.
So Penapeno under center. The man in motion is Tonzi. Handoff goes to Flint, and a tough tackle made by Gavin Buckley. He's had a nice game, Nate.
Yeah, he has played well both sides of the ball. It's again, Leroy trying to run up the middle and just not getting anything going.
A quick programming note, join us at halftime. We'll be joined by Chris Swazi for a quick interview.
Always news to me.
And we'll tell you about what Chris is going to bring to the table during the halftime break, as that one is tossed out to Jack Tonzi. Excited to have Chris on. Does a great job in the local area with many different business ventures, but he's also involved with Genesee Valley BOCES.
This is a big play here for Leroy. Stating the obvious again, but
so that one goes for very little. And that's going to bring up a 4th down for the Knights.
it appears Coach Herdline will go for this.
Yes, this is 4-down territory for Leroy for sure. They need a spark.
Leroy does get the ball, I believe, at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, but they need something to kind of spark this team a little bit.
So 4th and 1 here for Leroy. Penapeno takes the snap, tosses it out to Newmark. Reversing field, tripped up, and he's able to get the 1st down. An unconventional 4th down and short call, but Newmark, crafty running after the catch, able to move the chains, and Leroy needed that one.
I mean, that was all Newmark because he was not going to get that first down. He went where that play was designed. He cut that back inside and made a nice move just to get enough.
So a little bit more about Chris Swazi at halftime. He is the Vice President of Business and Workforce Development at the Genesee County Economic Development Center. And we'll ask Chris about some of the projects he's working on and some of the ways that these athletes out here on the field today have incorporated some future business training into their daily school duties. I know that the Genesee Valley BOCES Mechatronics Lab has really developed a few future professionals. So we'll talk with Chris and we'll get his thoughts about that and a few apprenticeship programs available to students in the Genesee County area. And along with Chris and the Genesee County Economic Development Center, we'd also like to thank Casella Waste for its sponsorship of today's broadcast. Sweet Betty's, Bubba's Landscape, Susan B. Narby and Southern Tier Hearing Services, Steuben Physical Therapy, the Senka Agency, Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York, Empire Tractor, and George and Swede Sales and Service. So here's Penapeno in the shotgun. All alone, he takes the snap, looking to run it right up the middle, but nothing doing there as he's wrapped up and dropped. Big number 74, I believe.
That was big 71.
71 for the Rams. And what a job he's done today. Diallo Wallace, 6'4", 300 pounds, a senior. He's been dominant up there.
Yeah, if I'm Leroy, I'm not running his way. And again, they just keep doing it. But also, if I'm Leroy, this clock is coming really into play here in this first half. They are not a fast-moving, explosive offense. It's only 2:30 left here to go before halftime. 2 timeouts left for Leroy as well.
So time ticking down in this first half. Penapeno once again alone in the shotgun. Looking to throw. Going down the field, and it's broken up. McCray was all over that one. Looked like he read the eyes of Penapeno, but couldn't come up with the pick. Instead, knocks it away, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 9. And these pass plays down the field have spelled trouble for Leroy, able to avoid disaster there.
You'd hate to state the obvious, but it looked like he had one read on that play and was going right to him no matter what. I mean, he was double covered, 3 guys in the area. Somebody's got to be open.
So here's the 3rd down play. Man in motion is Stevens. And he takes kind of an awkward-looking flip there as he came to a stop before catching that and falls forward for a short gain. That's going to bring up 4th down. And a quick update from the Section 5 cross-country championships. Your Class C champions, the Leroy Knights, take home the title in the boys division. On the girls' side, we are awaiting an update.
I believe they start a little later.
And also, the OAE boys took 2nd. So those are a few updates from the Section 5 cross-country championships. Congratulations to the Leroy Knights, cross-country sectional champions.
4th and 6 there. Coach Herdline didn't want to roll the dice. I think he's hoping to just go in down 14-0 rather than have something drastic happen there on a 4th and 6 at midfield. Honestly, right now, I mean, you're kind of holding your breath if you're a Leroy fan, hoping they don't find Bratz open again. Because with this offense, 134 is kind of an eternity with 2 timeouts.
So minute and a half to play in this first half. 1st and 10 for the Rams. They lead it 14-0. It's been a dominant performance here from Bath Haverling. Yell hands it off. And about a 5-yard gain from McCray.
Curry off the right side.
Said he stayed in bounds there. It looked like he went out of bounds. But
Jack Lathan, a couple other notes.
This sizable Bath crowd came a long way to this game, and they've enjoyed what they've seen. The Rams are really putting forth a solid performance, especially up front, dominating the line of scrimmage. We've seen Wallace get involved. Also, Ethan Bratz on the offensive line.
finally, you see a play from Zach Vanderhoof there. That was his first tackle of the game.
And just as I mentioned, Ethan Bratz looked like he was rolled into from behind, and he comes up limping. Another massive pillar of this Bath offensive line. He, Wallace, along with Cameron Seeger, also Brock Brazy.
Bath definitely content on this 14-point halftime lead here. I should say content with.
So here are the Rams to kneel out the final seconds of the first half, and we go to halftime. Leroy in major need of an adjustment. They trail it 14-0 here at Hartwood Park. Before we begin with Chris Swazi, who will join us up here in the booth, we'd like to tell you one more time about our lovely sponsors. Casella Waste, your #1 service provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Also, Sweet Betty's restaurant and ice cream shop, serving lunch, dinner, homemade desserts, 30 flavors of Perry's ice cream, soft custard, wine slushies, and boba tea. Sweet Betty's is ready to serve you. Check them on their Facebook page for daily specials. Open every day except Tuesday. Sweet Betty's is located at 15 Main Street in Leroy. Also, Bubba's Landscape. Call today for all your residential, commercial, and lawn treatment needs. You will spend less time on lawn care and more time doing things you love. Call now for an estimate, 768-6578. And we'll tell you about the remainder of our sponsors following our conversation with my man, Chris Swazi, a.k.a. Coach Swaz. Coach Swaz, how you doing today? What a beautiful day for football.
Great day for football. Excited to be here in Leroy.
All right, now, to get down to business, you're joining us here today to tell us about a few things that you have going on, and we'd like to give you some time to do so. And first, why don't you tell us about some of the athletes in the local area? I believe we have one here today that are also excelling in training programs that you and the Genesee County Economic Development Center have put forth. And what have they done to really put a good step forward here in their process with the training programs?
Yeah, one guy is Zach Vanderhoof, star on the football field, and is a star in the classroom. We're doing electrical, mechanical training, which is brand new, really, to Genesee County and the Genesee Valley BOCES. We invested $700,000 in new equipment, and Zach is killing it right now on the field and in the classroom, which is exciting.
Yeah, we've seen him all season long on the field, but it's exciting to hear about what he's doing in the classroom. Talk about mechatronics. What does that program look like, and what does that help students achieve?
Yeah, it's a great program. It's what all the businesses are looking for, this type of talent, and we have it here at BOCES. We invested $700,000 in new equipment, so you're getting state-of-the-art equipment, and you're learning with your hands, right? And I think that's the key here. And Zach was the first guy. We did it like what's called the Finger Lakes Youth Apprenticeship Program. And as a junior, you're doing a job shadow at a company, and as a senior, getting a paid internship, like at HB Hood or WACA, something like that. Zach was the first guy, and it was pretty cool that I was actually fortunate to announce him. We did it in an NFL-type format, in an NFL draft format, where the kids were all first-round picks, and we were able to really exciting with their parents there. Yeah, not a problem. With their parents there, we actually had a signing day. So along with the companies and their parents, and Zach was the first-round draft pick. So really exciting. He did a job shadow at Owaka and just loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Well, boy, that is exciting. And it's exciting to see these athletes get those opportunities and those apprenticeships that are also available. What are the ways that students still in high school can pursue a career and look for something down the road at their next phase of life?
Yeah, it's exciting because whether it's career focus or college focus, either way, it's all good stuff, right? The more kids can do career exploration in high school, the better they become. And in the case of electromechanical, that's one program. We also have CNC, and which is computer numerical control, and we have welding programs that are really great. And the skilled trades are incredible, right? We all want to be a plumber now. We all want to be an electrician because they're making doctor level salaries.
Yep. Now, some of the other stuff that you have going on, I mean, just these kids, these athletes, they've really taken advantage of all the opportunities. And you played sports in high school and college, and you've, through our conversations, have told me that you've translated some of those skills that you developed on the football field to the everyday workplace. And why don't you tell us how you've made that transition and how some of your experiences on the field have helped you?
Yeah, when you're a student athlete, you're a hard worker, right? And that's what companies want. You want somebody that's going to be a hard worker. They know what it takes. They're not just given, a job. And that's what these companies love. And sports is incredible for that. I do that correlation with Coach Swaz, as you know, just to talk to the kids about that. I'm not an economic developer. When we talked with my son and some other youth programs that we did, it all starts like in third grade, fourth grade. Like Brendan Briggs is doing an incredible job. And the system all starts, the younger the better. And kids are taking STEM in classes. Now we're trying to correlate to them what that means in the workforce and careers, especially right here in Genesee County.
Now, your son, CJ, was a talented athlete for Notre Dame, and I'm sure you had great enjoyment watching him play, but now you get to come watch players like Zach, who you're involved with on an entirely different level, but I'm sure that also creates some pride for you. What's the experience been like today? Although Leroy is struggling a bit in this first half, seeing Zach out there and enjoying himself on the football field and putting forth all the hard work that he's put forth.
Yeah, I talked to his parents earlier. Everyone's nervous, right? I talked to Eric Fix earlier. He's nervous for his son playing out there. But, you love that, right? I mean, that's what you play for. This is what it's all about. Somebody like Zach, when you see him in the classroom excelling, then you see him today, he's like my boy, right? Yeah. My boy Blue, right? Yeah. He's my guy. So I'm excited for him. And I think the second half they're going to come back strong.
Now, last question here. We got a few moments left. Tell us about some of the other things that you have going on. You mentioned the welding program and the computer program. What are some other things that your organization is offering students throughout the area?
My big thing is all about K through 12. And right now we're starting a new program called Cornell in High School, where kids, seniors, are going to be able to get a certificate from Cornell University in high school, and that's for a food processing career. So that's going to be focused on kids that are career-focused, not college-focused in this program, because Oatkan and H.B. Hood and companies like that, they're really desperate for jobs and employees. And to me, it's right coming out of high school. And that's, the great things that we have right here in Genesee County is that you can take it right from high school into a career path that's making $18 to $20 an hour and no student debt. Not a bad deal.
All right. Well, Coach Swaz, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at Hartwood Park. It should be a fantastic second half, and I dressed for the weather, didn't dress for the interview necessarily, but you kind of got to play both sides, and we wanted to put a face to the name so people know who to look for when they see you around.
Awesome. Thanks again, Alex.
Thanks for joining us, Chris.
All right. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you for the second half here from Hartwood Park. second half of action here from Hartwood Park. Alex Brasky with Nate Ryder for the Batavia Daily News and Livingston County News. We'd like to thank Coach Swaz for joining us at halftime. Chris Swazi, a great interview telling you about some of the opportunities that the Genesee County Economic Development Center is offering. So before we talk to Chris, we were telling you about some of our sponsors for today's broadcast, and of course we'd like to tell you about Southern Tier Hearing Services and Dr. Susan Nerby, audiologist at Southern Tier Hearing Services in Bath. Dr. Susan Nerby has provided high-quality hearing health care with a personal touch for 20 years. Located at 7433 State Route 54 in Bath, call 607-776-1200 now to schedule your appointment. Improve the quality of your life with better hearing today. Also, Steuben Physical Therapy and Wellness is located on State Route 54 in Bath. The place people go to get better, Steuben Physical Therapy helps athletes recover from injury and reach top performance. Also, the Senka Insurance Agency, where the drivers get the best rate, providing you with the coverage you need, protecting what you value most. That's the Senka Agency. Also, Western New York Ankle and Foot Centers. Dr. George Vito offers over 30 years of experience and strives to deliver the best ankle and foot care in Western New York. Now offering podiatry services for patients in Leroy, Buffalo, Dunkirk, Angola, and Batavia. Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York is equipped with physicians you can turn to for reliable ankle and foot services. Visit them online at ankleandfootcentersofwesternnewyork.com or call today to find a location near you. Also, Empire Tractor, your local New Holland dealer, selling a full range of tractors and farm equipment. Empire Tractor is also proud to sell Dixie Chopper zero-turn mowers, which is the world's fastest mower, and they are now selling and servicing the Coyote line of tractors, mowers, and utility vehicles. Check out their website, empiretractor.com, or visit in person right in front of the Genesee County Fairgrounds on Route 5 in Batavia. And last but not least, George & Sweet Sales and Service is a full-service equipment dealership located in Pavilion. Established in 1983, George & Sweet has been providing exceptional sales, rentals, parts, and service for over 35 years. Whether you need excavators, wheel loaders, trailers, rollers, or skid steers, George & Sweet has the equipment you need, including Hyundai construction equipment. George & Sweet has been a dealer of Hyundai equipment since 1994, selling and servicing Hyundai machines longer than anyone in the state. So, Nate, it's 14-0. First half dominated by Bath Haverling. Leroy not able to muster much offensively, and they've also turned it over a couple of times.
Yeah, like we were talking at halftime, this Leroy team loves to, run the ball up the middle, control the offensive line of scrimmage, but it's definitely not happening today against this massive and talented line. So they're going to have to come up with something else, get the ball on the outside somehow, misdirection.
So we still have 3 minutes remaining in halftime as you hear the Rocky music being played over here, and Leroy going to need a Rocky-type performance to come back into this one, as they've taken some blows, some body shots, some haymakers, and they're going to have to get themselves up off the mat.
Got any more?
As they prepare themselves for this second half of action.
I guess it depends on which of the 8 Rocky movies we're talking about. Does he come back and win? Does he lose?
Some would say that I look like Rocky with this winter hat that I have on.
Does Mickey die? Does Apollo die? Does Adonis win?
If he dies, he dies.
Does Rocky come out of retirement and lose to, who was that, Antonio Tarver?
I'm not going to lie, Nate. I am not a Rocky aficionado.
Oh, I love him. Except for 5. 5 was absolutely terrible.
Rocky.
They pretended that one doesn't exist, never existed.
I'm a huge Rocky 1 guy, though. Seen it about 1 million times. From there on out, I've only seen the others a few times.
Skip 5. Do not watch 5.
All right, here we go. We're ready for the third quarter. First kick of the third quarter will go to the Knights. So here comes Jackson Fix on the return. And he's dropped at the Knights' 30-yard line. So as you see on the Casella Waste scoreboard, it's 14-0 Bath Haverling, and Nate, the Casella Waste athlete of the game, it's really Justin Yells to lose at this point.
Yeah, he's got those 2 long plays, long passes, but it's not even really just that. It's what he was able to do in the backfield on both of those plays, escaping trouble, and getting himself in position to get those balls down the field.
Handoff to Brock Flint. It really goes nowhere.
Well, we talked about trying to do something different, and that was not something different.
Second down.
Leroy coaching staff not been treated very kindly by its home crowd here this afternoon. They've really been razzed throughout the afternoon. Really not helping matters much. Penapeno out of the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, runs it right into McCray, who spins him down for a gain of 2.
He was whipped down by McCray.
Tough tackle. As the Rams senior has also had himself a fine afternoon. So a 3rd and 6 here for Leroy. Penapeno once again under center, trips to the right. Flint in the backfield. He looks to throw, complete to Stevens, but 3 Rams tacklers are there. Among them is Damian Hall, along with Ethan Nerby, who's returned to action following that ugly-looking injury earlier. Good to see him back on the field.
And early here in the second half, we're going to get a big call from Coach Herdline. Looks like he's going to go for this on a 4th and 2 or 4th and a long 1, right in that muddy spot we've been talking about.
So here we go, 4th and 2. Big play in this game. Ball at the Knights' 40-yard line, thereabout. Penapeno hands it off to Flint. Pushes forward, and he has the first down. So that will keep the Knights' drive alive.
No, Alex, for a second there, it looked like they were going to just try and draw Bath off sides, and then at the last second really snapped it, and a nice little run by Flint to sneak in there.
So here we go, the 1st and 10. Handoff to Flint. Dives forward, gain of 4.
Flint off the right side. Gains about 3. 2nd and 7.
Leroy's really had no problem in this part of the field. They moved the ball pretty well in between the 30s. It's just kind of shooting themselves.
Right in the foot. And you know what you said about Leroy, the bend don't break. The Rams have really done the same thing all year. You've really not allowed teams to convert once deep inside their territory. As another good run from Flint. And that gives them a 3rd and manageable. So the Knights 3rd and 3 now.
And if you're Leroy in this first drive of the second half, you'll take this. You'll take 3-4 yards a pop as long as you can get something out of it at the end.
Snap, handoff to Flint. And he doesn't quite get to the first down marker. He's going to be about a foot short.
I don't know. We might get our favorite thing, a measurement, which is the most accurate thing.
We got to see if they give him the left or right foot spot here, Nate. Always something to watch.
Because we know the chain gang is always professionals, and they always have the chains right exactly where they're supposed to be.
At the same time, we appreciate the volunteer efforts from these guys out
We
here.
do, but my point is, this is not the most exact science. You know, and the amount of times we rely on the
I think I understood.
measurement.
I think I understood what you meant, Nate, but no one ever called you the most graceful human being in the world.
Well, nobody senses my sarcasm. Either way, he's going to be a few chain links short.
So, yeah, about a foot shy. And Leroy's just going to have to keep going for it here, Nate. If they're within 5 yards on fourth down, maybe even 10 yards, I think you just have to continue to go for it, especially now approaching Rams territory. You have to find a way to maybe generate some momentum, and if you can convert a couple of these fourth downs, that could really go a long way in that regard, as the ball marker still well behind the line of scrimmage, but now it's moved.
I would like to see a sneak here from Penapeno, but not toward number 71.
So here are the Knights, 4th and short, handoff, and that's going to be a first down and more. Brock Flint showing some emotion after that run. That's one of Leroy's best plays of the game.
You know, Flint's a tiny guy. He's a tiny kid. He kind of hides in there amongst those big guys, and looks kind of what he did out there. He just went off tackle or off guard to the left and just kind of snuck underneath everybody.
I'll tell you what, if Leroy can drive down the field and punch it in, Nate, that could completely change the tone of this game if they can prove that they can finish a long drive on the ground.
Still 35 yards to go before they do that.
Flint takes the toss.
And that's going to hurt.
And that's going to be a loss of about 1 or 2.
Looks like a hold.
And a flag on the play. It's going to be a hold on Leroy. That's not what you need, as the Knights going the opposite way.
That flag's going to be about 3-4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So this is going to be a first and about 23.
Spot foul, that actually makes him up first and 22 or 3.
Oh, we got
First.
a flag over here. Oh, my other favorite call, the sideline warning.
Yeah, we had one last night in the Avon game, I think, with 30 seconds remaining.
Like, do the teams not know before the game that they need a how about why isn't there a holding warning?
Yeah. Sometimes
I would like an offsides warning.
Sometimes as an official, you use the warning to diffuse a situation, whereas a personal foul penalty or a technical and basketball situation could instead escalate the situation. At least that's what they teach you when you become an official, and I think that's the purpose of it. But your point is heated, and I agree. These coaches and players, they know, and at some point, although emotion can be allowed into the game, you do have to maintain your distance there on the sideline. So a second and maybe about 3 miles here for Leroy. 6.5 minutes to go in the third. They've started to go the wrong way, and that's not going to help, as Ryswick brought down after a short gain on the screen pass.
It's back a few, but short gain.
And it looks like Ryswick remains down on the field. That doesn't look good. Hope the best for him. And he works his way off the field. So grasping his upper body, but Ryswick does appear to be okay, at least well enough to make his way off the field.
Definitely one of those Leroy players that's been injured toward the end of the year. So.
Penapeno takes the snap, room to run on the 3rd and long, and that's not going to get it done. It's going to be 4th and 16 now.
Picks up a bunch there, but still going to be 4th and
I think we might have one of those plays like earlier. They're going to line up to go for it and just heave it deep and hope for the best here.
here go the Knights looking to go for it on 4th and 16. But they'll take a timeout. In a game 14-0, timeouts will prove costly, burning them in these situations. As we tell you about our sponsors, Casella Waste, Sweet Betty's Restaurant and Ice Cream Shop, Bubba's Landscape, Southern Tier Hearing Services, Steuben Physical Therapy and Wellness, the Sanka Insurance Agency, the Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York, Empire Tractor, and George and Swede Sales and Service. Now, Nate, one thing you notice with the Leroy faithful over the years, much like Yankees fans, they've won so many titles over the years, had so much success that anything but a sectional championship really isn't good enough. And you're from Leroy. You graduated from Leroy High School. Can you speak on that and just how badly these Leroy fans want a title every season?
Well, honestly, it's not just the fans. It's the program, too. They go into every year expecting to win, and if they don't get a sectional title, it was a disappointing season. So, yeah, there's a lot of expectations no matter who's on the field for this Leroy program.
Penapeno on the 4th and 16, back to pass, going deep, and he has his man! Huge completion from Penapeno to Jack Tonzi, and the Knights are in business. Tonzi's pushed out at the 5-yard line, and look at this, Nate. Leroy 5 yards away from cutting this lead in half.
There was we've seen a couple poor throws from Penapeno.
That was a nice job from him, letting that play develop, knowing he had the time in the pocket, delivering the pass downfield, and the long completion has the Knights set up. Penapeno takes this one himself, trying to gain the edge. Fighting for the goal line. Not able to get there, down at about the 2-yard line. So Penapeno looking to take matters into his own hands for the Knights as the senior quarterback, 2 solid plays, has Leroy 2 yards away from pay dirt.
With Drew Strollo banged up, Penapeno's done a lot of the goal line work here for Leroy lately. I think he's got 7-8 rushing touchdowns on the season.
So the Knights will spread things out here. And the handoff up the middle, crashing into the end zone for the touchdown. Leroy is on the board.
Stevens, I think.
Adrian Stevens in for the touchdown for the Knights. And Leroy is within 8 as Mitch Hockey comes on for the PAT. Snap, hold, kick. It's good. We got a 14-7 ball game. And just like that, Nate, things are getting interesting here at Hartwood Park. What a drive from the Knights. What a pass play on 4th and 16. Penapeno to Tonzi, and then the touchdown from Stevens.
Yeah, you can't say enough about how huge of a drive that was. But like I was saying before, we've seen Penapeno struggle a little bit. He obviously picked off twice, a couple of passes that weren't very good looking, but that pass was perfect. Like you said, he waited. He waited for the route to develop, and he delivered a perfect ball there, and exactly what they needed.
And give the Leroy offensive line credit, giving Penapeno time to complete the pass on the 4th and long. He had plenty of time, able to stand tall in the pocket, make a strong throw to Tonzi, who was able to beat the Rams secondary. Great job by this Leroy team, continuing to battle despite the dismal first half effort. And as Nate said, this team's been banged up all year. That's also played into their offensive struggles. You have to bring that into play. And you see here tonight, Strollo still not back to full strength. You have Zach Vanderhoof playing one side of the ball.
Yeah, you see Strollo, and Vanderhoof and also Tony Piazza all playing only one way. They're only playing defensively. None of them are really playing on offense. We saw Strollo out there, I think, for a play or two. But and then you got Ryswick still banged up. And, you got to remember, those are 4 key guys. And I know there's more that are battling injuries, but those are 4 starters and 4 key guys on this team that are roughed up right now.
And here's a good return from the Rams, but a big hit at about the 33. And on that note that we were just discussing, Nate, you have to give this Leroy coaching staff credit. Heard it from a few fans here in attendance, but this team is competitive every year, no matter what size roster they have, no matter what players they lose throughout the year. This is as an experienced coaching staff as you'll find in Section 5, as hardworking, and they really do a good job putting a good product out on the field each and every season and giving Knights fans something to cheer for.
Yeah, and and like most programs, it's a year-round program, and these guys work all year for this. And like I said, they don't care about their size, their talent, whatever. They expect to win every year.
So here we go, huge drive for the Leroy defense as the Rams go a bit conservative on the counter play, and Flint is there and on the stop. So it looked like they may have gone to the double wing there, Nate, the old Bath Rams style that we saw under head coach Wayne Carroll, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, they did that also on the successful 2-point conversion down at the other end. They ran it the other way, and it was successful, but no, Flint snuffed that one out.
So a great start for this Leroy defense on what could be the drive of the game. If Bath's able to march down and score a touchdown, I can't see Leroy putting 2 more touchdown drives together like they did on that last possession. And this one is complete to McCray, and that's a first down for the Rams.
And I was going to say right before that play, Leroy's defense hasn't had much trouble stopping the run. It's been the pass that they've had the issues with, and there it hits them once again.
It's absolutely why I was surprised at that first down call, going uber conservative on that double wing play, usually used for short yardage, like you said, around the goal line, and they come out on first down, lose yardage, but it doesn't matter because Yell and McCray have absolutely had their way with this Leroy defense.
Yeah, and Bratz has been pretty quiet except for the one long touchdown. And Bath is showing that they got plenty of other guys that can get things done here.
Handoff to McCray, an awkward-looking handoff, and another huge gain for the Rams running back, and that's going to be another first down. So a good start for the Leroy defense, but holes on the last 2 plays, and Rams now inside Knights territory. Now the officials hearing it from the crowd here. Equal opportunity, Razin.
I definitely think they have a point on that one. Vanderhoof was tackled in the backfield.
Yeah, you saw him come away from that play shaking his head as he walked back near the official, Vanderhoof. So
he
I think he thought so too, yeah.
That. It's kind of the first blatant one I've seen missed all game.
Yell, high snap, hands it to McCray. That's about as small of a gain as McCray's had all day. Is Nate, we have a wasp in the press box. Is that a wasp?
I think it's a hornet.
A hornet. Oh, my goodness.
It is now dead.
Went after it barehanded. That's Knight tough.
Wasn't taking any chances.
I look at Nate. Where were you on that? It's been flying around you for 5 minutes.
It don't bother me.
Barehanded.
If I don't bother it, it won't bother me.
I've never accepted that theory with bees. That is false. So here we go. Second and long.
Live and let live, Alex.
2nd and 9, I should say. McCray escapes tacklers, and boy, oh boy, McCray is impressive. Like a bull in a china shop, just bursting through this Leroy defense time and again. And whereas Yell certainly has the scoring plays for this Rams defense, it's been McCray who's been the catalyst throughout this game. He's caught balls out of the backfield. He's run it out of the backfield. He's made plays on defense. What a heck of a game from this senior.
Yeah, he's playing well, and it's something you definitely don't see against the Leroy defense very often. They're just giving it to him up the middle and letting him go to work.
And I'm not going to lie, it helps when you have those beasts in front of you like McCray does. Yell takes the snap, tosses it to Bratz. And look at this speed, able to gain the edge, but he's tripped up. And a flag comes out, maybe a late hit on the Knights, and I'm not so sure about that call.
I do not know about that at all.
And you're taught to give 100% to the final whistle, and it's exactly what Leroy did, and they're going to be penalized for it. That's
that
that's
did not
the incorrect
look like
call.
a late hit at all. He was barely out of bounds.
That is the incorrect call. You know, in these situations, I've said quite often that some of these other officials need to come in and help that official there. They need to provide a different vantage point, and you don't want to necessarily overrule officials all the time, but that's a play where it clearly, in my opinion, was not the correct call. And it's tough to say that no other official saw it the way that we did, and I don't know. I just think there needs to be some sort of discussion there.
You have to look at it. There was no intent of injury. He was going for a tackle on the best player for the other team. He was barely out of bounds. The whistle hadn't even blown when he was hit. So I'm not a fan of that call.
So here are the Rams closing in on the end zone. Time winding down in the third quarter. McCray throwing a tackler off of him, but there comes Vanderhoof to clean it up. Sorry about my camera work there. Got caught watching McCray, Nate. I apologize for that, but it's easy to get caught up watching this kid. He threw the tackler off of him, but equally impressive, Vanderhoof comes flying from the defensive side and drives McCray into the ground for a big loss on the play. Sorry that I don't think that you were able to see that. That's my fault there, but what a physical play from both players there. That was what you call a football play.
Yeah, that was impressive.
So the third quarter has come to a close. We thank our sponsors, beginning with Casella Waste. Are you looking for residential pickup at your house? A dumpster or roll-off service for your place of business? Call Casella Waste and check out their great rates on local waste removal. Casella is your #1 provider for all your waste and recycling needs and is always putting your waste to work. Call Casella today, 585-308-0662 for a quote. Also, Sweet Betty's Restaurant and Ice Cream Shop, serving lunch, dinner, homemade desserts, 30 flavors of Perry's ice cream, soft custard, wine slushies, and boba tea. Call to place your order today, 585-502-6084. Also, Bubba's Landscape. Call them today for all your residential and commercial lawn treatment needs. You will spend less time on lawn care and more time doing things you love. Also, Southern Tier Hearing Services. Dr. Susan Nerby, audiologist at Southern Tier Hearing Services in Bath, has provided high-quality hearing health care with a personal touch for 20 years. Also, Steuben Physical Therapy and Wellness is located on State Route 54 in Bath, the place people go to get better. Steuben Physical Therapy and Wellness. Also, Sanka Insurance Agency, where the best drivers get the best rate, providing you with the coverage you need, protecting what you value most. Tell you about 3 more of our sponsors following this play, as Leroy is looking to keep Bath out of the end zone and keep themselves alive in this one. Fourth quarter ready to begin. Second and long coming up for the Rams.
Yeah, that that ball is definitely not placed in the correct spot. I believe it should be second and at least 17 or 18. The refs only have it at about second and 14. And the Leroy staff noticed that right away. But there's definitely more than a 4-yard loss on that run by McCray.
And in this situation, you can't blame the chain crew. This is a official's responsibility to get the chains reset. So unneeded confusion here, but I believe they have it sorted out as they'll mark off a few yards and push the Rams back a bit more. I haven't seen that all year, Nate. I don't think I've seen that in the past few years.
No, that was interesting.
So here we go. First play of the fourth quarter, Rams facing a 2nd and long. Yell takes the snap, hands it to McCray. Good penetration from the Leroy defense, and coming in to finish the job was Tyler Strollo. And a big man is down for Bath, and the officials will call for an injury timeout. Hope for the best for that young man. Looks like Connor Gleason on the ground for the Rams, as Leroy athletic trainer Amanda Shefflin out to tend to him, along with some Rams staff. So once again, we'll filter through our sponsors here. And Nate, why don't we talk about what we saw last night on the Batavia Daily News live stream. Win for Avon in the Class D semifinal over Alexander, the 8th straight win for the Braves over the Trojans, and Avon 1 win away from claiming its 2nd consecutive sectional championship.
Yeah, that also ended a great run by Alexander. I think that ends 5 in a row, reaching the Class D finals. Alexander, in a lot of ways similar to this Leroy team. Amazing, great defense, and they just need to get enough offense going to complement it. And last night, Avon did a great job of, snuffing out everything they tried to do.
Yeah, and I talked with Alexander head coach Tim Sawyer after the game, just heartbroken for not only his staff and his players, but the entire Alexander community. Football is like religion in Alexander, a town of only 2,500 people. And those kids, it's really not just a high school activity. It stays with you your whole life. Players come back to help out the program. They send their kids through the program, remain fans of the program, and it's impressive what Coach Sawyer has built with his staff there over the years. Like you said, 5 straight Section 5 title games, 2 sectional titles during that time, the first 2 in program history, and a new era set to open up next season as the Trojans will lose several seniors to graduation.
Tell you what, though, it sets up one heck of a Class D championship next week, though.
Here we go. 3rd and 17. Leroy needs a big play here. Yell fakes the handoff. Back to throw. Going deep. Jump ball. Nice. And it's knocked away. Solid pass defense from Leroy's Cal Kokidis, who came away with a highlight reel one-handed touchdown reception in Leroy's win over Attica earlier this season. And solid pass defense there, and now the Rams faced with a 4th and long, and they'll go for it due to the field position, but you have to say this is exactly what Leroy needs. Now 1 play away from getting the stop that they so desired here.
Yeah, and you got to think they're gonna look to pass, and I'm putting 2 guys on number 5 and taking my chances, and hoping I could get to Yale, but he was actually looking for a.
And you see Flint up in press coverage on Bratz. Kokidis shadowing him. Yell looks a man off, and he's dropped. Tyler Strollo completes the play as it was Jack Lathan in there on the pressure. What a play for the Leroy defense. The Knights take over, trailing by 7 with plenty of time remaining in this 4th quarter. But Vanderhoof on the sideline, limping heavily, Nate. That could prove costly for this Knights defense that has come alive here in recent moments.
He's a tough kid. He's going to tough it up. But I want to tell you, Jack Lathan was held pretty bad on that play. It wasn't called. He still made the play in the backfield. So that was a nice play by him.
Newmark in motion, now retreats as Penapeno is under center. Snap, toss, Flint. And good penetration from the Rams defense as Flint is dropped for a loss. William Clark, the linebacker, a junior, in there on the stop. And I'll tell you what, Leroy had so much success running it right down Bath's throat. I think when they've decided to go laterally, it's really hurt them, and they've lost yardage on a number of those plays this afternoon. I think they need to go north and south here on this drive.
At least the second half. The first half, they had a few decent runs with the misdirection.
Toss has not worked for them. Flint, and a flag comes in the area of holding, and that could really disrupt things on this Leroy drive. as it looks like Flint is coming up slowly now as he's limping. And it is a hold against the Knights, and that's a disaster. Second and long turns into second and longer.
Yeah, this offense can't overcome penalties like that.
It does appear as if Vanderhoof is well enough to return as his helmet remains on, rejoining his teammates. 10:38 remaining. Leroy looking to make the 2-touchdown comeback complete here with a touchdown drive.
It looks like the Knights will have a second and about 22.
Penapeno under center. Man in motion. Fakes the handoff, looking to throw. And it's complete. Guess who it is? Jack Tonzi, another big reception near first down yardage. Where are they going to spot it? What a huge play for the Knights on second and long. And I believe they're going to be a yard shy coming up here on third down, although the marker says fourth down.
Marker says fourth down, but it is only third down.
Yes. So third and short, and I think you need to see a run up the middle here. You can't bring it to fourth down if you're the Knights.
I tell you what, Bratz made a great tackle on that play because he was about a shoelace away from breaking that even longer.
Oh, and a fumble! Penapeno picks it up, and he's swallowed up in the backfield. A loss of 2, another disaster for the Knights, and it'll now be a 4th and 4. Wow.
No indecision here by Coach Herdline. He's going for it right now. 9 minutes left here in the second half.
Oh, my goodness. Leroy 1 yard away from the line to gain, an errant snap. Or maybe a mishandling of the snap. Unsure exactly what transpired there, but my goodness. Penapeno now goes under center with Drew Strollo deep in the backfield. Flint is out after he came up lame on his last run, and a timeout has been called by Leroy. As they'll talk things over here, as this is likely the play of the game. We'd also like to thank our sponsors once more. Casella Waste. Are you looking for residential pickup at your house, a dumpster, or roll-off service for your place of business? Call Casella Waste and check out their great rates on local waste removal. Casella is your #1 provider for all your waste and recycling needs and is always putting your waste to work. Call Casella today, 585-308-0662 today for a quote. Also, Sweet Betty's, serving lunch, dinner, homemade desserts, 30 flavors of Perry's ice cream, soft custard, wine slushies, and boba tea. 585-502-6084 to place your order today. Also, Bubba's Landscape. Call today for all your residential and commercial lawn treatment needs. Southern Tier Hearing Services. Call now to schedule your appointment, 607-776-1200. Also, Steuben Physical Therapy and Wellness, located on State Route 54 in Bath. Sanka Insurance Agency, where the best drivers get the best rate. So play the game, 4th and 3 or 4. Penapeno under center for the Knights. Turns, fakes the handoff. He'll look to throw. He has a man, and it's dropped. Tonzi had it in his hands. It was a high throw, and he couldn't secure the catch. The throw was there from Penapeno. He would have had the first down, but another missed opportunity for Leroy, and now the Knights defense tasked with coming up with another crucial stop.
That was a fantastic throw. It was not an easy throw. He was rolling to his left.
Not an easy catch either.
No.
But as they say, you get both hands on the ball,
Then
you have a good opportunity to make the play.
nice play call there by Brian Herdline, too.
Very nice play call. He hasn't shown much trickeration there, but that flood to the left side is what it looked like. Really opened things up for Tonzi. As it looks like a timeout has been taken
Bath took that
by
one.
Bath, yes. So we do have a few more sponsors to get to. Told you about these already. But we'll also tell you about the Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York. Dr. George Vito offers over 30 years of experience and strives to deliver the best ankle and foot care in Western New York. Visit them online at ankleandfootcentersofwesternnewyork.com. Empire Tractor, your local New Holland dealer. Visit their website, empiretractor.com, or visit in person in front of the Genesee County Fairgrounds on Route 5 in Batavia. George & Sweet Sales and Service, established in 1983. George & Sweet has been providing exceptional sales, rentals, parts, and service for over 35 years. So here we go. The Rams take back over following the turnover on downs. And the Knights defense, which stepped up on the Rams' last possession, looking to do the same here. This has been a good ball game after a dominant first half from the Rams. Bratz takes the direct snap, Not much there, a gain of about 3. And it looked like Jack Tonzi was in on the stop.
Aim 3 there. Jack Tonzi with the stop. 2nd and 7.
And you have to think Bath's going to take as much of this clock off as possible.
So here we go, 2nd and 7. Bratz, once again, to take the direct snap here. But the handoff goes to Damian Hall. Pushes forward for about a yard. So it looks like Rams head coach Matthew Ford has really gone to that ball control style, as Nate said, looking to take time off the clock. As Bratz now in at quarterback, but Yell coming back on for this 3rd and long.
Tonzi just ran off the field. He needed a new helmet.
I didn't know high school players had replacement helmets.
No, he just took one from somebody else.
I was going to say, quite the budget here, Leroy.
He was in on that tackle, and he ran. Something was wrong with it. He ran immediately out the field and grabbed somebody else's helmet.
I think it was Ryswicks, because he's not going to go in there on defense. So here we go. 7 minutes remaining. 3rd
Ryswick is like, I need a helmet.
and 6 or 7. Bratz takes the snap, knifing forward for a gain of about 4. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and Vanderhoof doing his best to remain in this game, Nate, but he's going to be forced to limp off once again.
Yeah, he's hurting.
He's putting it together with gum and duct tape at this point.
Which might be what I fix my mini fridge with later. So,
Sounds like my old car.
needless to say, big 4th down here.
Huge.
And I would expect more of the same from Bath. Give it to let Bratz take the snap out of the backfield and see what he can do.
As we saw with Leroy's 4th down, this has now become the play of the game. Justin Yell under center. Bratz the deep man, but he hands it to McCray, pushing forward. And the Rams believe they have enough for the 1st down. We'll see where they spot it. Do they get the left or right foot spot?
It's hard to tell. We're gonna get another measurement from our angle. It's kind of difficult to tell. Leroy seems very adamant that they stop them short.
The officials in the stands yelling Leroy ball.
Yeah.
But I think Nate's right. I think we will have a measurement here. This could go a long way to deciding the ball game. Give you a better look at just how close this one is here. Officials extend it. And it's short!
Short by
The Knights take back over. As what a stop from this Leroy defense. The Gene Steratore index card, the difference in that 1st down yardage there, as that was about as close as it gets, Nate. And wow, we have some drama here at Hartwood Park. 6:04 to go. The Knights take back over, trailing by a touchdown. Penapeno in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, looking to throw. Going downfield, he has a man, but he overthrew him.
little
The
bit of
Knights
pressure.
little bit of pressure from the Rams. The Knights have found something here with Penapeno and Tonzi. Although he was overthrown there, Tonzi has been able to get free into the secondary with consistency here as the game has progressed.
Yeah, there was big number 71 in there again for Bath. Made Penapeno throw that just a touch earlier than I think he wanted to.
Solid pressure created by Diallo Wallace.
How can I forget that name?
So 2nd and 10 here, and a timeout taken by the Rams. So we'll take a quick break here during the timeout. All right, here we go, Nate. We have some excitement here at Hartwood Park all of a sudden. 1 possession game, 6 minutes to go, and the team trailing has the ball with a 2nd and 10 inside their own territory. The ball is at the Knights' 22-yard line. Four wide for the Knights here. Low snap to Penapeno, looking to throw over the middle. He had Newmark, he threw it behind him, and a nice play by Damian Hall to dive in for the deflection. So Penapeno has just missed a couple of passes here that would have given the Knights good field position and a first down.
Yeah, there was just a touch behind him, but there was a heck of a play by Hall getting his hand in there because there was nobody behind Newmark.
Tell you what, these Leroy wide receivers have done an incredible job gaining separation down the field. The routes ran by the Knights receivers have been crisp, and it's allowed Penapeno with opportunities. Penapeno looking to throw once again, under pressure, and once again he throws it incomplete, this time high to Stevens. And I believe the Knights are going to have to punt it away here.
You have 2 timeouts, yeah.
So we'll have to see what the Rams decide to do once they get the ball back. They've gone a bit conservative here as the game has progressed, but I think what they need on this next possession is kind of that dagger drive, and in order to do that, they need to go to the air with Yell.
I'm going to think about this right now. Does Leroy have a trick up their sleeve here with under 6 minutes left?
Snap to Fix, retreats. Pretty good kick and a great bounce for Leroy, rolling down to the 44-yard line. So Leroy in need of another stop as the Rams have a relatively short field. 45-yard line is where the ball is placed. That's where Bath Haverling will begin its drive.
As we saw him hobble off the field, a big loss here for Leroy Zach Vanderhoof on the sideline. Big bag of ice on his left knee. No helmet, so it appears he may be done for the afternoon, unfortunately. Never like to see a senior go out like that.
Yes, never a good sign. As here's McCray, slips at about the 50. As you see on the sideline there, Vanderhoof with that wrap on the back of his leg and his helmet off. A big loss for this Leroy defense, not only with the production that he provides, but the blockers that he takes with him, allowing others to produce on this Leroy defense.
Yeah, he's taking 2 or 3 each play. And you're definitely going to see probably some things open up without him on the field because Bath doesn't have to worry about him.
So Bath will spread things out here. Trips bunch to the right. And a good stop there. Once again, it's Jack Lathan. He's had himself a fine second half. Third down coming up, and I think if Leroy gets the stop here at the line of scrimmage or behind, I think we'll see the Rams punt it.
I also think we might see a timeout if the same thing happens. I mean, Leroy's only got 2 left. But the offense isn't exactly explosive, so you kind of want to save as much time as possible.
So here we go. Critical third down. 4.5 yards to go until the line to gain. McCray dragged down. Still on his feet, though.
You see Leroy really ripping at that ball.
Looked like Jack Tonzi was there. Jack Tonzi, among others, we'll say, there on the stop. And it looked like they gave McCray a gain of about 2, but we will see Bratz take the field and perhaps punt it away here. And just as you said with Leroy, the trick up Leroy's sleeve, Bath could smell blood here, and on a 4th and short near midfield, perhaps we see a fake. But no, Bratz will kick it away, and this is his worst punt of the afternoon, going near the sideline and out of bounds near the 20.
I was just going to say that Coach Herdline electing not to take one of his final 2 timeouts there.
3:18 remaining. Still plenty of time left for this Leroy team to move down the field, and especially considering that they've gone to the air on their recent drives, and Penapeno just missed a few completions on that last possession. If they can find those open targets again and this time hit them, boy, that could really make for an exciting finish here at Hartwood Park.
Yeah, a couple inches here or there, and those are all completions, so he wasn't that far off last drive.
4 wide again for the Knights. Penapeno drops back, looking to throw. He'll go down the field. Oh, and just out of the reach of Newmark, who tried to make a one-handed snag. But once again, Nate, just inches away from a huge completion. That's how close it's been for this Leroy team on these last 2 drives.
Yeah, that's 4 in a row, 2 to Newmark, 1 to Stevens, and 1 to Tonzi, all on their hands. And, obviously on a couple of them, there were good plays. One of them, there was good pass rush by Bath that the ball was a little bit overthrown, but they are, not missing by much here.
Though it does make you wonder why Leroy waited so long to open things up. I know we kind of hinted at the turnover troubles that they've had, and that could have been a reason for that. But, boy, since they've opened it up, they've succeeded. But right there, a huge turnover. As you saw, a huge interception from William Clark. And that's going to just about do it, I believe, as the Rams intercept the screen pass. And they're now inside the Knights' 10-yard line with 3:07 to go. A short ways away from increasing their lead. What a costly turnover there, Nate. And Leroy going downfield, just missing those passes. Tried to shorten it up there, go to the screen, and sniffed out by Clark, intercepted, and that could be the dagger in the hearts of this Knights team.
And I have to say, I like the call, but, like you said, he sniffed that out, and that play was not there at all.
Can't throw that ball.
You got to throw it right at his feet and live to see another down. Tough to say for a high school kid, but.
Oh, yeah. In the heat of the battle, you're dropping back, pressure in your face. I mean, it's never easy decisions to make. No. Never.
Especially you're a senior, could be your last game. You're trying to make a play to win a sectional semifinal. Yep. By no means is that Penapeno's fault. Like in hindsight, yes, it's easy to look at, but I like the play call. Just, like you said, Bath played it perfectly.
Correct. Just the decision there, like you said, throw it down into the turf, live to fight another day. But I'm not sure Leroy is going to live to fight another day,
This is an
despite
interesting
this
call, though.
despite this penalty that moves the Rams back quite a ways. Time is still winding down, and Leroy doesn't have their full amount of timeouts remaining.
First and goal from the 34,
Yeah.
though. We don't see that very often.
No, you don't. So still a glimmer of hope for this Knights team after the Rams looked like they were going to have it inside the Knights' 10-yard line. Now backed way, way up.
If you're Leroy, you're ripping at that ball with everything you got right now.
Yell. Hand off to McCray.
First by Ty Strollo and a bunch of mates.
Yeah, as you see on your screen, second and goal as the Rams wind the time down as they're now near the 30-yard line. I tried to do the math late in the game last night, and I think I was about a minute off from what I was saying, how much time would be remaining. So I'm not going to try now.
Well, I'm going to guess after this play, Leroy is going to take a timeout. So.
Yeah, but it looks like they're definitely going to get it within about a minute and a half remaining if they're able to get the stop. Yell hands it to McCray. Breaking tackles into the secondary. Keon McCray down to the 15, but that's going to cost the Rams, as I believe that's going to be a personal foul on McCray or perhaps Leroy, as there was some pushing and shoving going on near the point of the tackle.
We're going to have to see who they call this on because and that's after the play too. So this is going to be a third down regardless. If it's Leroy, it's half the distance and still third down, I believe. For Bath, that puts them back in pretty interesting field position.
So a lengthy discussion here as two players were involved, one from each side. We'll see who the call goes against. One on Leroy, one on Bath, offsetting penalties.
One of my favorite calls because they're like, well,
It's like the double technical in basketball. Someone had to have initiated this situation. Someone had to have been at fault.
and you would think there's 5 of them out there, so there'd be an overwhelming majority, at least 3-2, and who did it. Then again, one guy says I didn't see it. The other 2 say it was this guy and this guy. Then
Something you hear very often from officials. They didn't see it when asked to appeal a call.
when's the clock starting? But
So Coach Herdline not happy.
I'm pretty sure Coach Herdline called that timeout at the end of that play.
Coach Herdline certainly not happy with that penalty call. Neither is the Leroy faithful. As that could have been a huge play, Nate. It is third and goal now from about the 15, and if that went against the Rams, it would have been second and goal from about the 30.
Yeah, and I got to think they're not punting here either way, even if they did get pushed back by that penalty. They're just going to run a couple plays and looks like give Leroy the ball back with a little over a minute left, if Leroy can stop him.
Vanderhoof really hobbled on the sideline. Hate to see that. Perhaps future aspirations to play at the next level.
He is a tough kid, so if he's not out there, you know he's hurt.
Sometimes even when he's out there, you know he's hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously been hobbling all day and doing everything he can.
So here we go. Leroy in need of a stop. 2 downs to go in order to get it. 1 timeout remaining for the Knights.
Yeah, that can't clock. How much?
4 seconds.
4 seconds?
So the officials wound the clock
After a timeout.
after a timeout, but they did correct it, so we're all squared away. 1:36 to go. That one not on the clock, operator. We'll make that known. McCray up the middle, and the ball comes out. Who's got it down in that pile? The Knights believe they do, and they do. Leroy comes up with a massive turnover, and the Knights, with a glimmer of hope here, a long way to go with 1:30 remaining, but they get the fumble as it's Tyler Strollo on the recovery. I'm unsure who forced it out, but McCray lost it. Strollo on the recovery, and here come the Knights.
Well, they still have that one timeout remaining because of that fumble. So in that situation, you're hoping for a chance, and here, Leroy's got it.
So 4 wide for the Knights here. Penapeno back to throw. Looks off the defender, going deep, a jump ball, and it's knocked away by Yell. Looked like he was going for Tanzi, but it falls incomplete. He had the single coverage down the field, but Tanzi unable to get position and go up and grab it. That would have been a tough catch.
Yeah, that was tough. Yell made a nice play getting over there just in time. Tanzi was open for a little bit, but that ball definitely hung up a little more than I think Penapena wanted it to.
And the Knights might want to go after Yell here, as he was a little banged up on that play, limping a bit after that. Penapeno back to throw again, going to the right side. This time he finds his man. Gain of about 7, but Knights are going to need more than that as they look to hurry it up with 1:10 remaining. So Yell has been replaced now as he hits the sideline after limping off. That one tipped out of bounds, and a 4th down coming up for Leroy.
Tipped out of bounds.
Definitely see at this level of high school, most teams aren't going to have a sophisticated hurry-up offense, which makes these situations difficult.
So big number 28 trotting onto the field for Leroy. We don't have him on our roster.
Oh,
Merritt Holly,
Holly
Jr.,
I thought he was a big boy.
a sophomore for this team, trotting onto the field.
You see Merritt just like his father out there at about 6'10".
And look at this match on the near side. Damian Hall against Merritt Holly. Knights may try to exploit that here. Penapeno looking Holly's way. A jump ball. Holly goes up, but solid defense coming across to knock it away. Broden Baldwin, the substitute that came on for Yell after Yell limped off, knocks it away. The Knights turn it over on downs. And I believe that's going to be the final blow that's going to send Leroy home short of reaching the title game.
Leroy crowd was hoping for a flag, but you didn't see much of a argument from the Leroy staff. I think that was a nice play by Bath there. You see the big kid coming out. They came over right on time, and perfect. Like Mr. Piazza to my left just said, perfectly timed by the safety.
And what a job by him. Coming on for Yell did Broden Baldwin, and coming up with the play that sealed the deal for the Rams.
Yeah, because it looked like Holly had his hands on that ball pretty much over, like you said, the smaller defender.
So before we get on out of here, we're going to award the Casella Waste Athlete of the Game, and we're going to give it to Justin Yell, quarterback for this Bath Rams team. Both touchdown passes here this afternoon to help lead the Rams to victory, 14-7 over the Knights, and Bath Haverling into its 2nd consecutive Section 5 Class C title game. And look at the Rams, they're pumped up as they can taste victory with 15 seconds remaining on the clock. We'd also like to present the TF Browns Top Trench Performer Award, and we're going to give that to Diallo Wallace, the 6'4", 300-pounder for this Bath Rams team. You heard Nate struggle to remember his name somehow throughout the broadcast.
I don't know how I missed that one,
but
I did miss him on the field, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, Diallo Wallace really put forth a solid effort, helped the Rams come away with this win. So Yell and Wallace, your 2 award winners, the Casella Waste Athlete of the Game and the TF Browns Top Trench Performer here at Hartwood Park. So the Bath Rams take home a 14-7 win, and before we get on out of here, we'd like to thank our sponsors one last time. Casella Waste, your #1 service provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Whether you're looking for a dumpster or roll-off service for your place of business, call Casella Waste and check out their great rates on local waste removal. Casella is your #1 provider for all your waste and recycling needs and is always putting your waste to work. Call Casella today, 308-0662. Also, Sweet Betty's Restaurant and Ice Cream Shop, serving lunch, dinner, homemade desserts, 30 flavors of Perry's ice cream, soft custards, wine slushies, and boba tea. Sweet Betty's is ready to serve you. Check them on their Facebook page for daily specials. Open every day except Tuesdays. Sweet Betty's is located at 15 Main Street in Leroy. Call to place your order today, 585-502-6084. Also, Bubba's Landscape in Leroy. Call Bubba's today for all your residential and commercial lawn treatment needs. You will spend less time on lawn care and more time doing things you love. Call now for an estimate, 585-768-6578. Also, Susan Nerby, Dr. Susan Nerby, that is, audiologist and at Southern Tier Hearing Services in Bath, has provided high-quality hearing health care with a personal touch for 20 years. Located at 7433 State Route 54 in Bath, call 607-776-1200 now to schedule your appointment. Improve the quality of your life with better hearing today. Also, Steuben Physical Therapy and Wellness is located on State Route 54 in Bath, the place people go to get better. Steuben Physical Therapy helps athletes recover from injury and reach top performance. Also, the Senka Insurance Agency, where the best drivers get the best rate, providing you with the coverage you need, protecting what you value most. That's the Senka Insurance Agency. Also, Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York. Dr. George Vito offers over 30 years of experience and strives to deliver the best ankle and foot care in Western New York. Now offering podiatry services for patients in Leroy, Buffalo, Dunkirk, Angola, and Batavia. Ankle and Foot Centers of Western New York is equipped with physicians you can turn to for reliable ankle and foot services. Visit them online at ankleandfootcentersofwesternnewyork.com or call today to find a location near you. Empire Tractor, we're here to help you grow. Your local New Holland dealer selling a full range of tractors and farm equipment. Empire Tractor is also proud to sell Dixie Chopper zero-turn mowers, which is the world's fastest mower, and they are now selling and servicing the Coyote line of tractors, mowers, and utility vehicles. Check out their website, empiretractor.com, or visit in person right in front of the Genesee County Fairgrounds on Route 5 in Batavia. And lastly, George & Swede Sales and Service, a full-service equipment dealership located in Pavilion. Established in 1983, George & Swede has been providing exceptional sales, rentals, parts, and service for over 35 years. Whether you need excavators, wheel loaders, trailers, rollers, or skid steers, George & Swede has the equipment you need, including Hyundai construction equipment. George & Swede has been a dealer of Hyundai construction equipment since 1994, selling and servicing Hyundai machines longer than anyone in the state. So, Nate, before we get on out of here, just a few final thoughts from you about this Leroy team. A solid season for them. Come up short of the final game one more time, and Bath marching on to meet East Rochester Gananda in next week's Class C championship.
Yeah, it's been more of the same for Leroy, the same as last 4 or 5 years. They great regular seasons and just come up a bit short in the postseason. They're gonna obviously lose some talent here with one of the Strollos and Vanderhoof and a number of other kids, but from what I hear, they got a talented crop coming up. A bunch of good sophomores are going to join the group next year full time. And, for this Bath team, they've kind of flown under the radar all year, just getting things done down there in the Southern Tier without anybody really noticing. And here they are in the sectional finals. They're going to get, the best team in Class C in East Rochester Gananda and, see which one can come out with it. But, there's going to be talented kids on that group, on that field next week. So that should be a heck of a Class C championship.
So once again, Alex Brasky and Nate Ryder here with you this afternoon for the Batavia Daily News and Livingston County News. Thank you for joining us. It's been a fun season broadcasting live high school football. This is our final live stream of the fall season. Tune in next week where I will be joining Varsity Media for the Class D final between Avon and top-seeded Oakfield, Alabama Elba. Also, this Bath team moving on to the Class C final next week, and local team Batavia in the Class B final. So still plenty to focus on throughout high school football over the next couple of weeks, but we are signing off for the final time this fall here on the Batavia Daily News Facebook and YouTube channel. Once again, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.